The Quran has names and titles of Allah that you would agree only apply to him. No creature, no angel, no prophet can claim these titles, or else it would be what is called shirk, or associating a partner with him. Just quickly, you agree with that?
That is incorrect.
This is when I knew we was in for a good time.
It's God. It's God. It's God.
Man, we just got done with a fire episode on the Sean Kelly podcast, the Digital Social Hour, with Uthman taking on 10 Christian apologists, I being one amongst them. And might I say, this was an absolute destruction. I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, it was one after the other, after the other, after the other, just taking their turns, with Uthman. And it was just, let's just say, disastrous for his career. Now, today I want to go over my particular section of the debate because, number one, it was awesome. Number two, there were some things that rubbed me the wrong way. So you're saying creatures can actually share in the names and titles of Allah?
Can I respond?
Please, it's a yes or no, because
I'm not going to yes or no. If you're going to ask a question, I'm going to respond.
It sounds like a line of logic that he's trying to run by. So if you're asking for a yes or no, you can do a yes and I have a clarifier.
Exactly.
And then if you want to get through your thought on the line of logic and then offer the clarifier.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a clarifier.
You know, what always shocks me is how these Dawa guys have an aversion to direct questions. And it becomes so clear when they struggle to answer what you might think is the most obvious question that has the most obvious answer. But for them, a simple question is so destructive that they fear it to the point where they will say the most outlandish thing that goes against their religion in order to avoid what they think is a trap coming. And this is what you see with Uthman here. Uthman here knows that maybe I may be giving him too much credit. Maybe he doesn't know, but he's a sheikh. He has to know this, right? Sheikh Uthman. You cannot attribute the names and attributes of Allah that belong to Allah alone to creatures. That's just an obvious, no, you cannot do that. That's correct. But all of a sudden, this is difficult. Actually, you can actually attribute names of Allah to creatures. MashaAllah.
There are certain sifat that are only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Ar-Rahman, that cannot be used for any of the creation. But there are sifat like Rahim, which can be used for creation. Allah is Wudud, He is loving. That doesn't mean that the creation are not loving. Of course, the characters of Allah are unique to Him, but there are some that the humanity does share in as well. Allah is living. We are all living, but the way Allah is living is unique to Him. So your base point was incorrect.
But you didn't address my base point. My base point was that there are titles of Allah, names of Allah, that cannot be attributed to creatures, anyone other than Allah. You came and started waffling on about how Allah is living, we are living, but we don't live in the same way that Allah lives. Allah has mercy, we have mercy, but that doesn't mean that our mercy matches His. Nobody asked that. That wasn't the base of my question or the statement. My statement was there are names like Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, the living one, that you cannot attribute to creatures. I cannot be identified as the living one or the merciful, right? The most merciful, unqualified. These titles in their absolute sense belong to Allah alone, according to your own Aqidah. I'm on it. You're not. So, for example, can someone be called Al-Rahim?
Again, for Rahim, if you put the can I speak?
I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, looks like okay, I got you. I got you. Okay.
Ooh, that boy nervous, boy.
So, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman. That is unique to Him. Nobody can be called, right? But even the indefinite Al can be used with certain characteristics. For example, Al-Wudud, the most loving. But the way that it applies to Allah is unique to Him. But as you earlier said, that those are only for Him, that is incorrect. Some are shared, not just that they are merciful, very merciful, but to the level of Rahman, no.
He's doing it again. Oh, see, people can be merciful. Allah is merciful. People can be loving. Allah is loving as well. No one is asking that. That's not the argument. The question is, can the titles and names of Allah be applied to creatures? We're not asking, can people be loving like Allah is loving? Can people have mercy? Allah has mercy. No one's asking that. And it's like these guys do this on purpose. It's either they're dumb, they're dumb and completely do not understand what you're asking and saying, or they know exactly what you're asking and are being purposely deceptive and not trying to deal with what you're asking directly. It's one of those two things. Either way, it's a win-win for me.
Again, certain ones, no. And that's why you have to understand the nuance here, because you don't understand Aqidah, right? Certain ones, no. Certain ones, yes. You can be the loving. Al-Wudud.
The most loving?
The most loving. Of course. Amongst
give my red book. I can be identified as the most loving. MashaAllah.
Go for it. Yeah. Amongst, for example, if I said these are all my kids, but this one, he's al-Wudud. He is the most loving of them.
You're qualifying again. That's not what I'm asking about. So what you just did is you qualified. You said the most loving of my children. I didn't ask that. I'm not asking, can someone use these terms in qualification of certain things? I mean, in general, outright absolute. Can someone claim themselves to be, in general, the most loving al-Wadud? Yes or no?
Once again, I'm gonna.
Yes or no, please?
No, I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna
yes,
answer.
no, and
I would say yes and or no
yes,
and
exactly.
yes but.
But
exactly.
please do not interrupt.
I won't. Just answer straight away,
Well,
please.
So-
again, that's why he's trying to run the line of logic, because
I
that's
know, but-
where we're running into.
But
that's
again-
how he's trying to get to his point.
I get that.
So yes
but your
and
point-
or no and.
yes and.
Okay.
So when we're talking about, for
over.
example, somebody
Sure.
being very loving, are you calling me mushrik here?
Yeah, you're
Nobody gave you that authority. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm a sheikh,
you're
bro.
not a Muslim. You're not a sheikh.
I'm a
You don't know
sheikh.
anything about Islam.
I'm a sheikh. Whoa. I know they didn't put a fact check on me. There ain't no way. Now let me give you guys a little insider about the so-called fact checks. Number one, it wasn't ran by Sean Kelly himself. This was not some AI that came up and checked what I said and saw that I was wrong and displayed it on the screen. No, this took place after our debate, and Uthman came into the studio the next day and had Sean Kelly put in these edits before the video is put out.
Here's the thing, you know what's interesting with that logic as well? So before you guys get back to, and this is actually something I do need to say. When you've obviously pointed out the fact that this fact check was not Sean. It has to be made clear to everyone. Sean doesn't know anything about Islam. He's an atheist, so he doesn't really know anything about this kind of stuff. He just wanted to platform this. He's agnostic, but he just wants to platform these kinds of things. He wants to have these conversations. This was not even his suggestion. I asked him, I said, one more thing. I was seeing the fact checks. A good addition. Did you make them yourself, or did Uthman provide them? And were we able to provide fact checks either? He said Uthman provided. We've never done before in post. So then I was like, okay, that's weird. I see. Would it be safe to say that he asked to put those fact checks in? Also, was he okay with others providing their own fact checks? He said, yeah. I think he only did the one on GodLogic.
Ooh, wow.
Well, just as I suspected. This was not Sean Kelly's idea to put in these fact checks post-episode, but it was Uthman's idea to put in these fact checks specifically on me, specifically on Avery, not on anybody else and not on himself. It was Uthman's idea. What up, man? I got to give a shout out to my bestie Uthman, man. That's a good move right there. That's a good move. Now, let's go through these fact checks to see how factual they really are. So the very first fact check that comes up after Uthman commits shirk by applying Allah's names and titles to creatures, it says this. This is not shirk. The Quran calls the Egyptian governor in chapter 12 Al-Aziz. Muhammad said to marry Al-Wadud, the most loving wife. Anybody see what's wrong with this picture? These examples are qualified. They're not absolute. Al-Wadud, and he literally puts the qualifier in the fact check. Good try, Uthman. Now, about the Aziz, watch this, guys. Because watch how their scholars understand this. This is what Ibn Kathir says on his tafsir regarding the verse. He says his master's wife was calling him to herself, and she was the wife of the Aziz of Egypt. You see the qualifier? The Aziz, Al-Aziz of Egypt. The reason why he has this title is because he has a governing position within the nation of Egypt. It's qualified. Let's check out the next fact check, shall we? And so this is why I said this. This isn't a personal insult. If you, according to Islam, attribute the names and attributes and titles of Allah to any of his creatures, then you have committed shirk, you have associated a partner with him, and you are no longer a Muslim. Whoa, Nelly. And here's fact check number 2. This is not shirk. The Quran in chapter 28 called Moses Al-Qawi, the strongest, which is one of Allah's names. Muhammad called Joseph Al-Karim, which is also one of Allah's names. Now, let's go ahead and do a little bit of research for Uthman to see if what he's saying is actually accurate. Here's chapter 28, verse 26 regarding Moses. It says, one of the women said, "O my father, hire him. Indeed, the best one you can hire is the strong and the trustworthy." Hold on a second. My eyes may deceive me, but it pretty much looks like to me that all of this is qualified. That this here is one, it's not Allah affirming these titles for Moses, but it's women affirming these titles for Moses in the context of men that their father can hire. That's why it says, indeed, the best one you can hire is the strong and the trustworthy. It's qualified. Now let's go ahead and see where Uthman is getting this Joseph claim from, that he's called Al-Karim. Maybe this is an example where someone is given the title of Allah unqualified. Let's see. Here in the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir on chapter 12, verse 4, this is where we actually find what Uthman is referring to. It says, Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, who said, the messenger of God, peace and blessings be unto him, was asked, who is the most honorable of people? Al-Karim, of the people. He said, the most honorable of them in the sight of God is the most pious. They said, we are not asking you about this. He said, then Al-Karim, the most honorable of the people, is Joseph, the prophet of God, son of the prophet of God, son of the prophet of God, son of the friend of God. It looks like to me, you guys, that the exact reference that Uthman is referring to, yet again, is qualified. What? The most honorable of the people. Al-Karim, of the people, not absolute. Does this fact check address what I'm asking? Does this fact check address my argument? Just like Uthman in our debate, no, it doesn't. Hey, I got a fact check for you. Here's Sunan an-Nasai 5387 in regards to Allah's names. Let's see what happens. It was narrated from Sheikh bin Hani from his father that when he came to the messenger of Allah and he heard them calling Hani by the nickname of Abu al-Hakam, the messenger of Allah called him and said to him, Allah is al-Hakam, the judge, and judgment is his. Why are you known as Abu al-Hakam? He said, if my people defer concerning something, they come to me, and I pass judgment among them, and both sides accept it. He said, how good this is. Do you have any children? He said, I have Sheikh and Abdullah and Muslim. He said, who is the eldest of them? He said, Sheikh. He said, then you are Abu Sheikh. And he supplicated for him and his sons. Do you guys notice something? When Muhammad heard that someone was being attributed the titles of Allah unqualified, guess what Muhammad did? Allah is Al-Hakam, not you. You can't refer to yourself as Al-Hakam. Matter of fact, you are going to be Abu Sheikh, not Abu Al-Hakam, because then you're kind of actually making yourself the father, because Abu is father, the father of Allah. So no. This has to be changed. Your name is now this. This is what you'll be called. It looks like Muhammad is on my side yet again. Well, actually, I don't know if that's a good thing. Now, on top of all of that, I think it's good that we throw in a real sheikh, a real scholar on the issue. Here we have Ibn Qayyim, who is a student under Ibn Taymiyyah, who also taught Ibn Kathir. These are high value guys, man. Top dogs. Ibn Qayyim, in his book, Tufat al-Madud, on page 125 says this: among the names that a human being is forbidden from being named with are the names of the Lord. Blessed and exalted is he. Thus, it is not permissible to use the names Al-Ahid, the one, as Samid, Al-Khaliq, the creator, or as Ar-Razik, the provider. Likewise, the same applies to all other names exclusive to the Lord. Blessed and exalted is he. Furthermore, it is not permissible to name kings Al-Kahir, the subduer, or as Zahir, the manifest, just as it is not permissible to name them Al-Jabbar, the compeller, Al-Mutakabir, the supremely proud, Al-Awwal, the first, Al-Akhir, the last. So here, guys, where Uthman in our debate said that yes, you can call creatures and human beings these names of Allah, no problem. You use them in these certain contexts. Well, according to your scholars, that is not okay. Especially when Uthman said that he can refer to his wife as the first and the last, Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir. That is not permissible, Sheikh Uthman. How did you not know that? So with fact check after fact check, we actually see that these are false inputs on Uthman's side. It's actually pretty sad, I'm not gonna lie to you. For you to have to come in after the fact to try to put in a biased so-called fact check and put it on the screen, it's pretty pathetic, it's unfair, and which is why, you know, we can see there's levels to this, man. There really is. There's levels to this. This is why a lot of the Muslims dreaded you coming on and having a discussion with me or having a discussion with any other brothers and sisters that came, because everyone was equipped and ready for you. Everybody was ready for you. And I got to give a shout out to my brothers and sisters who showed up, because they also got their moments and demonstrated what it means and what it looks like to be in the truth. But this is what it looks like when you're not in the truth. Just commit a shirk.
What are they?
You commit a
what
shirk.
What are dawabit al-takfir?
You can't commit shirk.
What is that? You do not know. You are ignorant of the dawabit. We are caught you right now.
Can you be a Muslim and commit shirk?
Yes, you can. You can. Let me sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Somebody who does shirk.
And that shirk, shirk and that shirk and that shirk. Shirking to the left, shirking to the right. Hey, didn't no one tell you all the shirking ain't right? Shirking all day and you be shirking at night. Shirking till it hurt, cause you be shirking it for life. And that shirking, shirking that, shirking that, shirking that, shirking and that shirking, shirking that, shirking that, shirking that, shirking.